word from Mr. Harper that he's been called away to the bedside of a friend who's very ill. He sent these flowers. It's a good thing he did. I don't approve of young men refusing dinner invitations at the very last moment.
Take the box and the paper, Mrs. Pringle.
Oh, it's such a shame. After you said it all so beautifully. And it's getting late. Guests should be arriving at any moment. How's Cook?
Cook's in a temper, as always, madame.
I'm glad to hear it. She's like an actress. The better the temper, the better the performance. As long as she serves a good dinner, I don't care how much she swears. The rest of you can just keep out of her way. Where's Gustav?
I'm sorry to have to say it, madame, but there's such an awful blizzard out. He's sweeping off the sidewalk.
Oh, yes, the blizzard. I should have ordered an awning. But who would have expected a storm like this?
Here are the place cards, Mother, and a diagram. Shall I put them around?
Yes, Elaine, dear. I'm going to go fix up your father. He's so helpless about his ties. Remove one plate, Dunham.
Remove one plate, madame. Oh, madame, it is a certainty. You wouldn't sit down with 13.
13? Why, you're right. We could never sit down with 13. It's all due to Mr. Harper's negligence. Sick friend, nothing. He's just one of those careless men who never answer their dinner invitations in time. His flowers, indeed, do make me forgive him. Now look at the trouble he's put us to. 13. I wonder whom we can get to come at the very last minute. Quick, Elaine, help me think.
There's always Uncle George.
Oh, he never opens his head.
Mr. Morgan, madame, he always tells a joke or two.
Why, yes, Dunham. That's very clever of you. Operator, Lakeview, 5791. At once, please. Oh, Elaine, dear, your hair is much too tight. Pull it out. Oh, come here. Mr. Morgan's residence. Yes, this is Miss Pringle speaking from across the street. Yes. Well, when he comes in, tell him I'd like him to dine with us. In about 10 minutes, you expect him? Splendid. Have him call me then. Now, if he shouldn't get it, then what'll I do?
Well, Mother, I really wouldn't have to be at the table. It's your party anyway. Everyone's married and older than I am.
Didn't I put you next to Oliver Farnsworth? Millions. He's worth millions.
Well, he won't be giving me any.
Can't he marry you? Aren't you going to try to make a good match for yourself? I fling every eligible man I can at your head. Can't you finish the rest yourself?
It's no use, Mother. You're trying to marry me off to anyone as important as he is. He frightens me to death. I lose my tongue. I'd be as afraid of him as I'd be afraid of the Prince of Wales.
The Prince of Wales. Oh, what I wouldn't give to have the Prince of Wales at my dinner party. New York has just lost his heart to him. I was just telling Mr. Farnsworth yesterday that I'd give anything to have the Prince here. That would establish my social position for life. And I have such a reputation for being a wonderful hostess. Dear me. Hello? Who? Mrs. Sedgwick. Mrs. Sedgwick, yes. What? Caught in a snowdrift? Can't get another car? Good. The widow can't come. That leaves us 12. Remove 2 plates, then. Oh, my dear, that is such a shame. Oh, I'm heartbroken. You will be dearly missed tonight. Goodbye. There, that's wonderful. Now we're just 12 again.
But if you leave it at 12, Father can't sit at the head of the table.
Oh, but he has to sit at the head. It looks too undignified when the man of the house is pushed to the side.
There's no other way. There must be a woman at each end.
How absurd. Oh, yes. Of course 12 is an impossible number. And I wouldn't want either of these women to sit at the head. There's Mrs. Conley, such a cat. I wouldn't give her the honor. And there's Mrs. Jessica. Answer it, Denham.
Hello, Mrs. Pringle's residence. A message? Yes, sir. What, sir? Mr. Darby, the doctor says your baby has the chicken pox.
Chicken pox! Oh, Lane!
Mother!
Yes, sir. Mr. Darby sends his apologies, but owing to the transmutability of the disease, Mr. and Mrs. Darby feel obliged to regret, as well as their house guests, Mr. and Mrs. Fleetwood.
That's 4 out.
Then you're only 8. Quit the plates, Dunham.
Don't we know anyone to invite us last minute?
The Hatlets?
No, they don't serve drinks when they entertain. I can't afford to have them drink mine.
Alice Green.
No, she's not interesting enough.
Mr. Conley?
He never makes a dinner call, even after all the times I've invited him.
Hester Longley.
Not at the same table with you, Oliver Farnsworth. She's far too pretty. She's too clever. Where's our dress book?
The Tuppers.
The Tuppers. Good heavens, Elaine, 6 in the family.
That'll get us back to 14. Then Father can sit at the head.
Splendid. Try them. I'll rush and tell your father to hold up the drawing room.
Ridgeway, 9325. This is Elaine Pringle. What Tupper am I speaking to? Oh, Ella, hello. I hope you haven't finished your dinner yet. We arranged a party here, and at the last moment, everyone's been dropping out. Yes, because of the blizzard. Can't you flock your family around the corner and eat with us? Mother and I thought we knew you well enough to call you like this at the 7th hour. Oh, you would? Oh, fine. 6 more plates, Dunham. What? Oh, well, but Dunham, get over there quick. Yes, of course. Love it. Why, certainly yes. Yes, my dear. All right. Great Caesar. Now what have I done?
Elaine, what's the matter?
I've done it. I've just done it. But I couldn't get out of it. I just couldn't. You weren't here. I always lose my head and bungle things.
But what is it? Don't keep us waiting like this, Elaine.
Well, I invited Ella and the family, and she accepted. And then she said they had 2 house guests and would be all right. And of course I said it would. And now we're 16.
16? But madame, the table's not that long.
This is just like you, Elaine. No tact, no worldly wisdom. If I'd been at the phone, I would have politely...
But you weren't at the phone. You ought to attend to such messages yourself. You know I always lose my head.
But the dishes, madame, and we only have 14 meals.
I won't eat any.
But I mustn't be disgraced. We'll have to make the best of things and insert another board.
But Mother, I needn't sit at the table.
You're going to sit right there next to Oliver Farnsworth, and I don't wish to hear another word about it.
But can't we squeeze them in without all the work of adding another board? If you move the chairs and place
Have you forgotten that Mr. Tupper weighs something like 250 pounds, and Mrs. Conley has no waistline? It can't be done.
Cook is in a rage, madame. She says she's only prepared for 14.
I can't help it. She'll have to prepare for 16. Tell her to open cans of soup and vegetables.
But the ice cream and the gelatin.
I'll pretend I don't like them.
And I'll pretend I'm on a diet. Hello? Who? Jessica? What? The blizzard? You're cold? Too dangerous? Oh, why, yes, dear. Yes, your husband's right. It would be a bad decision. Oh, put on a mustard plaster. Hot toddy, go to bed. I'm so sorry. You'll be dearly missed tonight. That's wonderful. Now we're just 14 again.
But the cards are all wrong. Only 6 are coming who were invited originally. You'll have to make a new diagram. How do you want them seated?
Give it to me.
Here are some fresh cards.
What a mess! I spent hours over that arrangement. So much depends upon having guests seated harmoniously. Oh, there's the doorbell, Dunham. I told Annie to answer it for you, but go! Peek into the drawing room and tell me who it is. Oh, dear me. You murderous instrument! What have you to say? Hello? Who? Mr. Farnsworth. Mr. Oliver Farnsworth? What? Instructed you to make excuses? Had to leave town on very important business? Oh! How dare he! How dare he! At the last moment like this. No regard for a hostess's feelings. No regard for the effort she goes to provide an evening's enjoyment. And such a good dinner I planned. And he promised he would come. Business. I don't believe it. He didn't want to exert himself. Was afraid of freezing the blizzard as if he didn't have half a dozen limousines to carry him to the door. Selfishness. Downright rudeness. And worth millions. Just a match for you, Mary. Elaine. Oh, darlings. And I was bound you should meet him and sit next to him at dinner. And now I don't know when I'd give you a chance like that again. I'm perfectly furious. I won't be treated that way.
Perhaps he really did have business and was called away.
Oh, and I, one of the most important hostesses in all the city. People clamoring to receive my invitations. All my affairs are a success. I insist they shall be. I can't bear a failure. I won't have a failure in this house. He was my most important guest. Such a man's man. So important financially. All other men consider it an honor to meet him. And now not coming. I'm furious. Furious! It's all this damnable blizzard.
Now I will have to stay away from the table. His not coming makes us 13 again.
Go to bed. Up to the nursery. I'll send you milk and crackers.
But Mother, it's not my fault to make business out of town.
Yes, it is. If you'd perk up a bit and not be so timid and make something of yourself, he'd have heard of your attractions from other men and been curious to meet you himself. Oh, what a family I have. No one to help me with my ambitions. Go to bed. Up to the nursery. I certainly won't sit down to 13. Go to bed. Get out of my sight.
It was Mr. Morgan, madame.
Mr. Morgan? But I thought he couldn't come.
He couldn't have received the second message, madame, for I heard him explaining to Mr. Pringle how happy he was to receive your telephone invitation.
That makes you 13 again. Unless you don't want me to go to bed.
Of course, now I don't want you to go to bed. We're back where we started. 14 down.
I'll get the cocktails ready, madame. Annie told me there were several motors making their way through the snow. It's late now and cook's swearing about the dinner getting too dry.
I won't answer it.
I should say not. Now what? Hello? Who? Mrs. Tupper. Mrs. Tupper, yes. Oh, but now you must come. Oh, but we're prepared for you. Yes. Yes, for 8 of you. No, your daughter told my daughter about your house guests, and we're delighted to have them. Oh, but now you must come. But we're prepared for you. Yes, for 8 of you. Oh, my dear, how silly of you to take that stare. But my dear, Now, what do you think of that? Mrs. Tupper is perfectly furious at Ella for telling you about the house guests. She says that Ella has no tact, that nothing would induce her to bring 8 when we only invited 6. So she's leaving Ella and Henry at home. Only 6 are coming. Remove your pranks, Dunham. We shall be 12 after all.
But if you leave it at 12, Father can't sit at the end.
I shall go mad. I'll never entertain again. Never, never. People ought to know whether they're coming or not. But instead they accept and regret and regret and accept. They drive me wild. This is my last dinner party. My very last. After this, I'll be unsociable and hard. Oh, I'm through. Through with dinner parties, with society, with friends. I'll drink my liquor myself instead of offering it gratis to the whole town. Oh. I'm through. Through with men like Oliver Farnsworth. I don't care how rich they are, how influential they are, how important they are. They are nothing but kindness and consideration. Business. Off on a train. Nonsense. Didn't want to come. Didn't want to meet a sweet, pretty girl. Didn't want to marry her. Oh, don't you marry him. Oh, don't you dare marry him. Do you hear? If you tried to elope or anything like that, I'd stop it. Yes, I would. Oliver Farnsworth will never get respect from me. He's beneath my class. I hate Oliver Farnsworth.
A note from Mr. Farnsworth, madame.
Note from Mr. Farnsworth.
Yes, madame. There are two strange gentlemen in the lower hall. They presented this letter. He said he was the secretary. All the other guests are upstairs in the drawing room, madame, and I've counted 12 in all, including you, Mr. Pringle, and Miss Elaine. But the two gentlemen downstairs, madame, are waiting for your answer. The one gentleman's face seemed very familiar, although I can't seem to place him. Although I'm sure I've seen his face somewhere.
Seen his face? Somewhere? Oh, Elaine! It's the Prince of Wales!
The secretary said you cut off the telephone or Central disconnected you. He was going to tell you that Mr. Farnsworth knew that the blizzard had prevented His Highness from keeping an engagement way uptown.
The Prince, waiting in my lower hall for me to ask him to dinner.
That makes us 13 again.
The secretary! Miss, he's his bodyguard.
Certainly the secretary. We shall be 14 at dinner. Serve the cocktails, then. The guests may sit anywhere they choose. I'll bring the prince in with me.
But Mother, wasn't it nice of Oliver Farnsworth to send the prince in his place?
Didn't I always say that Mr. Farnsworth was the most considerate of men?
I think I shall like Mr. Farnsworth.
Silly child. It's too late now to like Mr. Farnsworth. It's time to like the prince. I always manage somehow to be the most successful of hostesses. Thank God for the